Welcome back, everyone, to the Successful Psychic Revolution for Women, which is our 14-day virtual training. We have amazing speakers, 28 speakers, providing immensely valuable information to the audience, readily actionable tips, and we also have another amazing speaker today. I want to introduce you to, and she's going to share again some of her wisdom and some of the work that she does, and she will provide us with some tips as well to help us along to migrate from the successful sidekick to the highly valued leader. Again, this is your host, Edyne Clancy, on the Successful Sidekick Revolution for Women. Well, welcome again to the audience, as I mentioned, but also to Randy Goodman. Welcome to the show today, Randy.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, I'm so honored to be here. So thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for I've been looking forward for this conversation. We've been planning this for a while now, and I'm looking forward to see and to hear and to share what you have to say. I'm going to provide a little bit of information about yourself, Randy, to the audience, and then we'll dig deep into what you do and why you do what you do. So,
Perfect.
Randy Goodman, international best-selling author and co-founder of globally renowned business conferences, Toronto Women's Expo and Business Wealth Summit, and title author Empowering Women to Succeed. She is a caring, heart-centered entrepreneur with an altruistic view for the betterment of all in growth and prosperity. After her fourth son was born, her desire for a daughter vanished. That is funny. Fate gave her four energetic boys and a compliment to her tough guy outer shell, also shown in her accomplishment of the second degree black belt in karate. Oh wow, that's amazing. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing. You know what I would like to dive into the toxic people that you mentioned. Of course, you said, with the events and what you do, and no matter what stage people are, they can get value into, either for mindset, for business, or different aspects of it. But getting rid of the toxic people, often sidekicks surround themselves with other sidekicks, right? And maybe intentionally, but not maybe not so sometimes. So how do you decipher? How do you maneuver that? If you're a sidekick right now listening to us, what can you do to recognize the toxic people and then get rid of them?
Well, I think you just said it right there. The very first step is, first of all, recognizing, not being in denial, right? Because you live in a bubble and you think, oh, well, this is my mom, or this is my dad, or this is my child, and you don't really want to accept that that person could be the toxic person in your life or one of them. So I think, I'm totally agreeing with what you're saying, is first accept that there is toxic people in your life. And if you don't have any, that's fantastic and all the power to you. But quite often we do have those people in our lives. And it could be just as small as asking someone, how are you? And getting a response of, same crap, different day kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
That's negative, right? So it could be as small as that, or it could be very obvious with many other things. So first recognize that that's the case, and come out of denial and say, okay, yes, I can recognize that these people are toxic or negative in my life, and toxic means negative. So don't think of poison or the worst part of it, but it can just be negative people. Recognize that, come out of denial, and then say to yourself, maybe it's somebody in your life that you can't get completely out of your life. So, like a family member, but maybe you can limit the amount of time that you see them. right? If it's somebody like a friend or an acquaintance or whatnot, you might be able to completely get rid of them, and just stop calling them. Maybe they'll just stop calling you. Maybe have a conversation with them and say, you know what, these are the things I absolutely love about you, but there's some things that I just don't want in my life anymore. And it's not because I think I'm better than you, and it's not because I think I'm, on top of the world or anything, but I need to surround myself with a lot of positive right now. And I think it's probably better that we're just not going in the right direction. Right. And having like a very, and for some people you might not be able to do this because some are very high strung and dramatic and are going to argue and fight with you and be angry at you regardless because they're just not at the same level that you're at. But if you can have a calm discussion with somebody and just explain to them, but then tell them the good about them. Don't just tell them bad things, right? That's if you need to get somebody out of your life.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't need to completely get them out, but just limit the amount of times you see them, then do that. Just limit those visits. If it's a family member because they want to see your kids, then maybe it's once a week or once every 2 weeks instead of every other day or every day, right? If you live with the person, it can be much more difficult, right? You can start getting into all kinds of details there, but definitely I'd say first steps, recognize it, come out of denial, and then have a conversation. Don't be afraid to have a conversation because you have to realize that you're worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You are worth living the life that you wish to lead, free of people who put you down, free of people who say terrible things to you or tell you you'll never be anything or make you feel useless or whatever other negative feeling they're making you feel. You don't deserve it. And even if you think you do deserve it, you don't deserve it. And you need to say that to yourself. It should be a mantra that you say every single morning when you wake up and every single night before you go to bed, telling yourself all kinds of wonderful things about yourself. And then start to believe them because they're true.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. One thing that you mentioned, yes, number one tip, first tip is to recognize that you have toxic people around you and try to limit the amount of time you spend with them is number two. And have a conversation if you can.
Mm-hmm.
If you cannot, that's fine, but limiting your time is okay too. And um, I love the fact that you said why, because you are so worth it, and having your mantra. I think that would be number three, the tip number three here, to have telling yourself that every day, every morning that you're worth it, and and no matter what other people are saying or if they think that you're too good to be true or whatnot, it is what it is, right? So it's you need to go with your own drum, as they say. I'm
Exactly.
not sure the expression, but yeah, okay, that's good. Um, so how did you tell us a little bit about how did you start your journey? I mean, you're a bestseller, you're an author, a co-founder of globally renowned business conferences. How did you start that and why? Like, how did you start all of this? This is a lot, and for boys.
Well, I was married I was with my husband for about 19 years, and we separated just over 7 years ago. And we're very amicable, keep everything positive. We raise the kids together, so they can't on one off on the other, right? But it's so important to figure out what your destiny was. Like I was home for 15 years. Okay. And that was my husband and my choice at the time that I would stay home to have and raise kids. And through those years, I couldn't just do nothing. I had run a manufacturing company at the young age of 22. So I loved business. I loved it a lot. And so for me to leave business was like a shock, right?
Right.
So it was, okay, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to keep my brain going? I'm a fourth level CMA, so I have an accounting background, It was like, okay, so how do I keep myself in tune with business and with life? So I actually had 2 side businesses just to keep my brain going. They didn't make any money, but they kept my brain going. And I also did all the house accounting, of course. And then I also did a lot of charity work. I did years and years of charity galas, which is kind of what made me fall in love with events. And I had always done my own events as well. But, these were outside events. You got to work with a team of volunteers. It was fantastic. And then I also started doing the events in the schools. So I was chair in one school, and I was on council in another school, and chaired some subcommittees, and I loved it. So we did barbecue committee, and it was just so much fun working with a team of people and seeing this thing come to fruition and to be successful and make some money at it, even though it wasn't a fundraiser. And, it was just so rewarding to be able to do that. And then when I found myself separating, it was, okay, now I have to work. But who's going to hire me? Like, what am I going to do? Like, I've been out of the workforce for so long. They're going to think I have zero experience, right? And, are they going to pay me? Do I have to go back to school? Like, what do I have to do? Like, it was terrifying, right? And then also trying to find yourself, because you've been with somebody for so long. I went from my mom's house to my dad's house to living with my husband, right? So, here I'm 40 years old at the time and going, okay, what do I do now? Right? And it's the first time I'm really living on my own, even though I have my kids in the house. So it was really difficult trying to figure out what is that going to be. And I've always been very entrepreneurial. So when I got back into reality, so to speak, outside of the house, it was, okay, well, let me start networking. Let me start meeting people. And I ended up getting into a network marketing business for about 15 months. And I realized, what, this isn't for me, right? This wasn't for me. I totally respect people who are in network marketing, and I've joined some other network marketing companies since. But I find that for me, I resonate more with running, a different kind of business where I'm not affecting so many people that way, right? My upline, my downline, right. Although I think it's so valuable, and this is like the most amazing way to start a home business. It's inexpensive, it's fabulous, right? But at the time, I don't know if it was the mentors or people around me or what, but I didn't find it working for me, and I was busting my butt. So what I did learn from it was that what an incredible education I got. I learned how to network. I learned the do's and the don'ts. I learned that I absolutely loved doing events, because that's exactly what I got into right afterwards. I started doing business-to-business events. And I had done so many other events. I'd spent so many years doing events. I knew I loved them, and I knew I loved business. So merging the two was just natural, right? So I went out there and started doing trade shows. I fell in love with it. It was so incredible because I could teach people how to network properly and not just stand behind their table, right? And get out there and meet people and engage with them. But then following up with them and really learning how to network and what to do, the do's and the don'ts. And that I could teach people this. I could show them how to be successful with what I've been successful with. And I really dove deep into that. And then it just kept transpiring. I did events since, like business-to-business events, since 2009. And then in 2011, so I kept doing them. And then 2011, a girlfriend of mine and myself that I was introduced to, Rhonda Shulman, we started the first Toronto Women's Expo. We decided we wanted to focus in on women and help women, and that we would do that. So we did the first one together. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to continue, but she still continues to be a really good friend of mine. And I carried on. with Toronto Women's Expo. So we built that foundation with the first event, and then I continued on, and I still do it today. I absolutely love it. And then I connected with Gordon So a couple of years ago. And to me, Gordon was like larger than life when I met him. So Gordon's telling me these stories, and we decided that we're going to meet for tea in a couple of days. So that's exactly what we did. We went and met for tea, and we were talking and talking and talking. And, you know, I had my Toronto Women's Expo coming up for 2014 and needed some speakers and whatnot. So he helped me get some speakers for that, which was awesome. And we just kind of talked about what our ideas were, what our goals were, what we wanted to achieve, and they're pretty much in line. And he had asked other people to work with him and do events with him in the past, and some had said yes, and nothing happened. So he was talking to me about the same thing. I said yes, but I'm very much a doer and very much an action taker. So right away, we started working on the Toronto Women's Expo, of course, and once that was over, the very next day, Gordon says to me, okay, let's plan our first Business Wealth Summit. And we decided we're doing it 4 weeks from then, okay? So 4 weeks after this event. Within 2 weeks, we had all the marketing, the speakers, the venue, everything was set up, and we were already going for it. We had 180 people at that event, and it was awesome. And that was the beginning to, you know, doing all these incredible events. We've done small events, large events. Absolutely love working with this gentleman. He's so creative. He's got idea after idea after idea. You can't even keep up with them, okay? And then one of the things that he was passionate about, you know, and I love reading, but he was very passionate about writing books. And he had gone to a lot of seminars, and I ended up going to a bunch of seminars and seeing what different people were about as far as that goes. And he had a couple books that he wanted to put out, and he hasn't put them out yet, so, but they're coming. And he actually came up with Empowering Women to Succeed. So I have to credit him with that because he's absolutely wonderful. And he said, you know what, this is an incredible idea for us to compile a bunch of people's stories and have them share with the world. Said, fabulous, love the idea. So we actually started getting people interested in participating in the book, and then we actually did an event called Empowering Women to Succeed a year ago, last September. And it was such an incredible event. We had about 100 women out and a few men. We had incredible speakers on stage, and it was just delivering value, and educating people. We had a wonderful VIP lunch, and everybody was happy, and it really went off well. And it was really a great synergy. So we're already working on the book. So we kept getting our authors into the book, and in about a 4-month period, we were working with 16 authors, starting and finishing a book. So it was a whirlwind.
That's
it was
amazing.
Crazy. Yeah, it was totally crazy. And then we had our live launch June 2nd. We did our online launch on June 1st. And we actually did a save the date launch yesterday for the first volume. And we hit #1 international best-selling author yesterday.
Wow, congratulations. You didn't tell me that. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was very exciting. We used a lovely lady, Susan Ordana, to help support us with that as well, and some other really incredible people around the world. And of course here locally in Toronto, who were helping us, and our 16 authors collectively working together to promote the book. And you got to remember, it was even harder the second time because, and we did hit international bestseller the first time, We have proof of it being number 2. We don't know if it ever hit number 1 because at the time we didn't know we were supposed to watch it, but we did watch yesterday and we have proof, number 1, which is really exciting. And so, but doing it the second time, it's more difficult because you haven't necessarily exhausted your list, but the ones that were interested the first time have already bought,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're going to buy again.
Yeah.
So it's really pushing it out there and getting other people to involve and getting people to share it. And I mean, there's a whole process to doing this. And, what really excites me is now that we've done it, and I have to tell you, I'm very humble. I usually don't run around saying this stuff, but it is very exciting. It just happened yesterday, so we're still on a high.
Yeah.
But the best thing is that I can help other people achieve what they want to achieve with their books, right? And help them to write and publish books. So that's very exciting to me. It just adds to the repertoire of things that I already teach people, like digital marketing and other things. So, when you love helping people, it just naturally brings out that passion in you and the desire to share information.
So how does one start having a good, networking foundation? What would be the first couple of steps we need to do? Besides the obvious ones, going and reaching out to groups and so forth, but yeah.
Yeah, that is number 1. Okay, number 1 is go on meetup.com. Go on whatever local organizations are around you. So whether it's women's groups or chambers of commerce or board of trades or whatever is out there, meetup.com is fantastic because you can go just about anywhere in the world and find events, right? Whether they're free or paid, they're out there. But get out there. Like, don't just rely on social media, and that's another channel, of course, but you can't build real relationships with social media. You need to take it to real life. So social media is great, take it to real life, or go to networking events and start with real life, and then connect with them on social media so you can keep in contact with them, or add them to your database, your email marketing database. Now, there's rules, there's laws in a lot of places where you can't just add them. And I know people still do it because I get added to people's lists and I didn't opt in. But there really is a law. So, years ago there wasn't a law, and not that long ago there wasn't a law here in Canada, but there is one now. And you have to respect people. If they don't want to be on your list and they don't sign up, and don't just add them, right? Ask their permission. But you can ask their permission online. You can ask their permission face-to-face. You can use different opt-in techniques, and I won't get into them here, but there's all kinds of opt-in techniques to get people to join your list. Do it. I have something added to my signature in my email. So anybody I ever talk to can see if you want regular notifications from me. Register here. It's not worded that way, but they can join at any time. But for me, that maximizes my exposure. So every time I email somebody, whether they're on my list or not, they can see there's that opportunity in my signature to join my list. And you can do that too. So really make sure that you're getting out there and meeting people. Now the other crucial part, really super crucial. Okay, great. You've gone out there, you're on social media, you're at live events, you're meeting people, you're collecting all these business cards or contact info, and then what do you do with them?
Right.
Right? What do most people do with them? They throw them in a box or they fall down the seat of their car, down the side, or they're in their purse or their bag. They're somewhere. One, they can probably not find them. Or two, it's accidentally in the garbage or thrown out or ruined with water or something, right? They're not putting it somewhere safe to keep it, number one. And two, they're not doing anything with it. Everybody thinks things are going to come to them. Guess what? Wake up. because it's not coming to you. You have to go after it. If you want it and you desire success or clients or referrals or whatever it is that you're looking for, you need to follow up with people. Another crucial point. When you meet people, really, really important part of networking is you need to be of service to other people. Really crucial. If you go in there and say, hi, I'm Randy, I would love for you to come to my event and support me. Well, you're going to kind of go, who are you? Like, what are you doing? I don't even know you. Why am I coming to your event? Like, really? You don't even ask me anything? You don't care about me? Like, that's what people are thinking when you approach people that way. So what do? What's the solution? The solution is go in and be of service. So I'm going to say, hi, my name's Randy. What's yours? Oh, that's fantastic. It's a pleasure to meet you. Can you tell me about you? Because I'd really love to know about you and see how I can help you. I have a great network of people and I really love helping people. So please tell me all about you and let's see what I can do for you. Now, how are you going to feel?
Wow, that person is interested, and obviously, yeah, that's a friend in the making, right? So I love that. Yeah, it's really good.
They will just about do anything for you after you've done that, especially if you do it on the spot. So many times I'm talking to somebody and my brain's going, I'm thinking, how can I help them? How can I help them? Who can I connect them to? And they tell me something and I'm like texting somebody right now to say, blah, 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 can you do this? Or can I connect you to so-and-so, like right away? Or I'm sending an email right away. And this person's sitting there going, holy, like, oh my God, you take action, like no wasting any time here.
She's serious, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but how good do they feel? Like seriously, they feel like a king or a queen, because you just put so much effort and attention right there and then, right in front of them. And they're feeling like they're on cloud 9. And for me, when I make somebody feel that way, that puts me on cloud 9.
Oh, that's I love it. I love it. With those tips, I love those tips because it's true, like you said, a lot of people go to the networking and they don't go actually. People don't go because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. So this is a really crucial part, being of service and taking action on what you said you're going to do and help them with. That's amazing.
Yeah, and Edyne, sorry to interject, but you just said they don't know what to do.
Yes.
And they don't go because they don't know what to do. Well, remember these letters, FORM, form, okay? So what can you talk about? Family, occupation, relationships, and then your message. Never come out with your message first, but FORM. Always be able to have something to talk about, right? You can always find synergy with people somehow with any topic. So talk to them like they're your friend and you want to get to know them.
I love that. That's really cool. And cool acronym, form. That's really amazing. So Randy, how can we get in touch with you? You have a website, if you don't mind to share with us. How do we get in touch with you? What's your website?
I do. I have a couple websites, TorontoWomen'sExpo.com or EmpoweringWomen2Succeed.com.
Awesome. And we're going to have this information, the link to those two websites and all of the information that Randy provided us today on our magazine, but also on the material the emails that we're going to send out. So that's really amazing. And you have a free gift for us as well, Randy. What is it?
I do. It's Starting Naked. So it's my story, but with lots of tips and whatnot on how you can get started if you're starting from nothing. And you can get it at randygoodman.ca. So it's RANDIGOODMAN.ca.
Perfect. And we'll have that link as well. Starting naked, eh? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Started, well, that's what happened, right? I started from nothing and I had to build. So we all start out naked when we're born.
Oh, that's yeah, that's a really good yeah, that's a good point as well, actually. In any start like part of our life, that's where you want to
Hold
test.
on one sec,
Yeah.
sorry. Guys, you gotta be quiet, please. I'm recording. Sorry.
So yeah, starting naked is it's a very good title because it's true. In any aspect of life, we start naked, right? In relationships, in business, and so on. I love the tip that Brandy you provided to us because it's applicable to everyone. If you're in the corporate world or if you are in business, having recognizing the toxic people, try to limit your time with them if possible, have a conversation if it's possible. And even what you do, during the networking events and making sure that you do not rely on only social media, but networking event outside is important. And I love that. All of those tips we're going to provide to the Successful Sidekick Revolution for Women magazine, and of course on the link with your, on the email with the link to your free gift and your book and your website information. I want to thank
Thank you.
our amazing speaker today, Randy Goodman, and we are still going strong with the Successful Sidekick Revolution for Women virtual training. We have a few more days to go, and we're going to have more, interesting stories and speakers, highly valued leaders sharing their story, their why with us, and providing us a lot of valuable tips. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you for being here with us, Randy, today.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to chat with you, and I'm happy to share information. So thank you so much, and I look forward to connecting with lots of you. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And yes, again, the website, Randy website is going to be provided. So do connect if you want to leave the box of the successful psychic to a highly valued leader. This is someone you need to reach out to. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, bye bye.